Nearly two-thirds, 65%, of Gen Zers reported experiencing at least one mental health problem in the past 2 years. According to a multi-study released in 2023, this statistic was lower for all older generations, including millennials at 51%, Gen Xers at 29%, and boomers at 14%. What is causing this? Hi! My name is Jaden, and I make commentary videos on culture, media, and kind of whatever's going on in the world that I feel like yapping about. And today I want to talk about the Gen Z mental health and loneliness epidemic. There's been a lot of studies lately coming out and a lot of Gen Zers themselves coming forward talking about mental health and loneliness in this particular generation. Science doesn't lie, and apparently my generation is struggling. Woo! That doesn't go without saying that yes, all generations have experienced significant problems, mental health issues, world events that cause problems. I'm not discrediting any of those experiences, but this is more so focused on Gen Z and how statistically there has been more of an increase in mental health issues with our generation. Although there's no single reason why Gen Z seems to be suffering so much with their mental health, there are a couple factors that kind of explain it a little bit more. Of course, there was the pandemic, we all remember. This affected everyone, not just Gen Z. But a lot of Gen Zers were also in their end of high school era, starting college, which is supposed to be a really exciting time, and they're supposed to experience freedom for the first time. However, they couldn't because they were all locked up indoors and could not, which leads to the other reason, social media usage. We know social media is a curse, right? I'm curious how this is also going to affect Gen Alpha in the future as well, considering their whole lives are on social media, and Gen Z didn't really start using social media till let's say the early teens, preteen era. But Gen Alpha kids definitely are going to be affected by social media more intensely since they've been on it since before they could walk. We all know that high usage of social media does affect your brain. That is scientific. If you don't believe me, here's some proof. We know social media is horrible for us, and it's an addiction. We can't help it. Our brains like it. It gives you that happy feeling. It gives you that, the endorphins that your brain craves and needs, and it's so overstimulating that you just can't stop, right? That is a problem though, because being stuck on social media does kind of take over a lot of important aspects of your life and your time. The state of the world, of course, is a huge factor, not only just because of the pandemic. Are you choking? Is it a hairball? Hang on, I'm gonna draw a little hairball. Yeah, a little hairball. You feel better? It's no secret that the state of the world is questionable, right? Considering everything going on in America, and then there was, of course, Gaza and Palestine, and all the massive events that are going on, and lives being lost, the violence happening at schools. There's a lot happening which definitely impacts Gen Z. There have been a lot of surveys and studies kind of going around, kind of quizzing people that grew up like Gen Zers about why they think that their generation is suffering so much with their mental health. One of the number one reasons is finances, because we're kind of in a recession right now because everything is expensive, okay? No one can afford anything. Groceries are insanely expensive right now. Don't even think about buying a house because that's impossible. And our generation in general doesn't feel like they'll ever be able to retire or live comfortably. So many people are living paycheck to paycheck, and that's if they can get a job, because the job market itself is in a horrible state, especially with ghost jobs. See my other video I made somewhere on the screen here about ghost jobs, because that's a pretty big issue that is also preventing people from getting jobs, and without a job, kind of can't afford basic necessities in your life. A lot of people also see finances as a barrier to be able to live life the way they want. With how expensive everything is, it's just not realistic to be able to afford certain goals that you're looking forward to. Like, if you want to go to like a higher education, tuition is so expensive. It is outrageously expensive. And not everyone can get approved for a loan or feel comfortable paying off a loan because that's a lot of money. Or also the aspect of just not knowing what your future holds. Again, with the state of the world and how expensive everything is, people aren't even sure what there is to look forward to. They feel like they're trapped and that they can't get out of this dark hole that is life because they don't see themselves realistically being able to pursue the careers they want, pursue their goals, experience life to the fullest because there's so many difficulties that are preventing them from getting where they want to be. There's also so much pressure to, know what you want to do with your life because a lot of our parents in this generation already had everything at our age. Like, by the time your parents were in their 20s, they had a house. They were probably married. They probably already had kids. They had careers. They already finished higher education. And then they put that pressure onto their kids when they're around the same age, wondering why. Like, it was easy for them, so why isn't it easy for you? But again, that's just not possible with the state of the world and the economy right now, that people can't even live on their own right now. A one-bedroom apartment, not even in a bedroom, a studio apartment is so much money. Like, you're looking at least $1,200, and that's if you're lucky. The average is like $1,600, at least out here in BC, which is crazy because no one can afford that. And you're literally just paying for like a bare room with nothing in it. Half of them don't even come with a stove or laundry. It's a lot. So, of course, a lot of people are going to still be living with their parents. And then, again, that makes them feel bad about themselves because why couldn't they do what they wanted? Why did they have to get handed such a bad draw in life? Gen Z is also very aware and conscious with the state of the world, like climate change, for example. They were like one of the first generations to publicly start speaking out about it and how it is an issue that's affected people. It says that nearly 45% of young adults aged 18 to 25 think their mental health is harmed by an overall sense of things falling apart. Climate change is having a negative effect. A recent international study of 10,000 young people aged 16 to 25 found that 80% worried about the climate crisis, which experienced feelings of sadness, anxiety, anger, and powerlessness. We've been harming the world for so many years, and it's starting to show. There have been more earthquakes going on, more like tornadoes, storms. All this is happening because like previous generations weren't as environmentally conscious, and it is taking a toll on the world, and a lot of people are scared about that. They don't know what's going to happen, and of course that's going to lead to so much anxiety and fear. Of course, then there's technology. AI has really taken over lately, and that is affecting Gen Z. Whether AI has replaced a career that they wanted to pursue. Again, the animation industry has been struggling forever. I know a lot of people that were in the animation industry and they really loved what they did, and it's what they aspired to do since they were kids. And now that just got taken away from them, and they have no clue what they want to do with their lives anymore because that job isn't really easy to get anymore because AI is just causing so many problems for people. Or just social media in general, all the self-comparisons. You see these people living these lives that are manufactured, and you're like, why can't I live like this? And then you just start to doubt yourself. The loneliness epidemic with Gen Z. 73% of Gen Z report that they feel alone, either sometimes or always. Gen Z feels more disconnected from the community and the people around them. Again, mostly because of social media, because we're all just doom scrolling. There's no more talking to your friends or texting. It's sending them a reel, sending them a TikTok, or like not having phone calls because, well, talking on the phone is actually kind of scary, not gonna lie, but, and there's no need for small talk since everyone's posting what they're doing on their stories, like on Instagram stories or Snapchat story or whatever, you already know what they're doing. There's no need to really follow up with someone and be like, hey, what'd you get up to this weekend? Because you've already seen it. It was on their story. So it's not much to talk about in that case because their entire life is online. You've seen it. Why bother seeing someone in person and catching up when you've already seen everything they've done? Our brains as well are just kind of mush at this point from all the doom scrolling we do. And again, that kind of overstimulates you, and then it just makes you tired and you don't want to go out and see people. Or since everyone's working so much, a lot of people are working several jobs. They're too exhausted to even spend time with friends and family because all they want to do is rest and just recharge from constantly working. As well, since we were talking about all the mental health going on with Gen Z, that plays a big factor into your social life as well. Because again, if you're too depressed or anxious, you're not going to want to go out and see people. Obviously, like your brain is going to be telling you like, oh, well, your friends don't even like you. Like, why would you go out with them? Like, they don't want you there. You're just going to kill the vibe. Or you're thinking like, I'm too tired. I don't have the energy to even get out of bed. I can't even respond to a simple text message. How would I go out and see people? It just doesn't feel possible. And then there's the lack of third spaces. I talked about this as well when I was talking about my Gen Alpha video. There's a lack of third spaces because everything is just online now. People aren't going to malls. They're not going to skate parks. People don't even go to like the park half the time. There's nowhere for people to just hang out and be chill. Especially since like coffee shops and everything as well have like a 1 hour seating limit. So you can't really spend a whole day hanging out with someone at a particular location because businesses just want you to get in, get out, buy their stuff and leave. There's nowhere to really hang out and just vibe with people. There's barely anything that people can do. Then of course there's toxic self-care. Toxic self-care is another factor that I don't think a lot of people talk about, which is when you think that you're protecting your peace, but in reality, you're distancing yourself from people. There's a lot of negative self-care type of content online, which just kind of leads to you being alone, honestly. They say to just cut people out of your life. Like, I'm all for cutting people out if they've actually genuinely done something horrible, but just because, like, maybe your friend bought a red shirt and you wanted the same red shirt, that's no reason to really cut someone out. Like, cut someone out if they, like, stole your partner or cheated or, like, committed a crime or something or just toxic or abusive to you. Like, that's a reason to cut people out. But don't cut people out over simple disagreements. A lot of Gen Z as well, they don't seem to want to problem solve. They're just so quick to cut people out. They don't want to work through problems, which again is also why there's a decline in dating, because people don't want to work through their problems. They want everything to be easy and simple, but life isn't easy or simple. We need to go through hardships. We need to work through problems to build a stronger connection with people, but people don't want to do that. They just want their peace. And too much of a good thing can be bad. You can't protect your peace forever and never leave your house. You'll just become lonelier and sadder, and you need to get out and experience stuff, meet new people. Of course, social anxiety is a big thing as well, but that's why we have therapy and people we can talk to kind of work through these things. And if you can't afford therapy, there's a lot of good online resources to help you work through these situations. I do have social anxiety, professionally diagnosed, if I do say so myself, and I have to force myself to go to events a lot of the time. And you know what? I have a great time when I do go. I went to a concert alone for one of the first times ever, and I was so scared because I've only ever went with friends or family. I'm like, I don't know anyone there. This is going to be scary. This is going to be awkward. What am I going to do? I went there. I got my own drink. I was front row, and I made 2 friends. Just because I was there solo. They liked like my style or whatever, and I was like, oh my gosh, I like your style. And then we started yapping before the show started, and then we were singing together, and we had each other on Instagram, and that was super cool. And I don't know, I think it's just cute how we can like if you kind of like step out of your comfort zone, you kind of experience a lot more things. Like, it's hard and it's scary for sure, but at the end of the day, it's rewarding, and you just might meet people and make a good connection. If you are struggling with your mental health or feeling lonely and you're not quite sure where to start, there are like a couple of things you can kind of work on if like obviously like if therapy's not a feasible option, because again, who can afford it? Not me, it's too expensive. So just kind of lean a little bit more into your own personal empathy is pretty good. Oh, my camera's dying. Lean a little bit more into the empathetic side of yourself, and even doing like shadow work, just kind of get a better understanding of yourself. There's like guided journals that are actually really fun. It reminds me of those days when I was like 13 and Facebook had the like copy and paste surveys and you like fill them out, you know? Does anyone else remember that? Did anyone else do that? Because I was obsessed. Anyways, just kind of understanding yourself and your needs as a person, and just kind of digging a little bit deeper and, you know, figuring out like, what are you looking for in a friend or a partner? What are some ways you can, you know, step out of your comfort zone and still feel safe? You know, just like taking little baby steps and listening to yourself as well as listening to people around you and not judging something in a second. Real world connections. Take your conversations off of social media and get out with people. You know? It's hard, it's scary, believe me. Believe me. And I'm kind of a hypocrite right now because I have not seen a single friend in 3 months because I've been too busy working, but oh wait, no, it's a lie. I saw someone a few weeks ago. I did go 3 months without seeing people. That is a true story. I forgot, I saw my friend the other day to finalize some trip plans, but yeah. Take your hangouts off of social media. Go get a coffee. Go to the mall. Go grocery shop. I genuinely love grocery shopping with people. Is that weird? I don't know. I just have so much fun. Like, especially if they're doing their own grocery shopping and you're doing your own. I just like to see like what people are buying, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Or it's like, how do they check out the produce? Like, do they take the items from the back or do they take the item that's on the front, you know? And just kind of like vibing and like giving each other recommendations, and oh my gosh, cooking. I love baking with my friends as well. One of my friends, she comes over and we just kind of like to bake cookies and pretzels, and it's really cute and fun. And then of course there's just finding community. There's a lot of groups, even on like Facebook. I've actually joined quite a few Facebook groups, which are kind of cool. Kind of just like meetup groups, or you know, go on Eventbrite and see what kind of events are going on. Take yourself on like a solo date and you might end up meeting new people that you vibe with, or I don't know, going like joining a sport or a hobby, something to get you out of the house essentially and around other people. Yeah, you don't have to talk to people the first time you're there, but over time you'll start to feel a little bit more comfortable at whatever community event or sport you're at, and then you'll kind of start to open up and you'll feel better and you'll start making connections. That's pretty much all I have for this video. Hopefully you kind of understand a little bit about what Gen Z's been going through. I know for sure all the other generations as well have gone through the same kind of deal, and you know, some of them are doing better. So that's a little bit of hope for you, I guess. And I will see you in my next video. Please take care of yourselves. Step out of your comfort zone. Let me know in the comments down below what you will be doing to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit. It doesn't have to be something big. It can be small. But you got this. Anyways, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!